There's lot tour. There's a couple quad parking spots here, his cabin, the kitchen, bathroom.
Right now he's not.
Albino bunnies.
Red eyes.
Yeah, they're albino bunnies, right?
They're just normal bunnies.
Just normal bunnies?
They just have red eyes because they're evil. I think one of them had blue eyes. The ones that were white, the other ones don't know the cavity. Everything here about how many years ago? Not very long ago, like 3 years ago. Before that, we rented the community house
Chili.
a couple years. And I didn't even come up here ever. This was just grass and trees and nothing. And then I was like, I should start developing my lot because everyone else is doing it. So, started planting stuff. I don't know what this is.
No. What? Huh.
Some of you may have used this
Oh,
before.
wait a minute.
This is the one
That's not
you
a
collect
chote.
and paint.
That's not a chote.
No,
What
it's
is-
not a chote.
oh, okay.
Correct.
No,
It's
it's
castor bean.
castor bean.
Yeah.
Oh, castor oil?
Yeah. So if we get a cold press Mercado Libre, we can press these and make castor bean oil,
Wow.
which is used in a lot of things.
To make, you mean castor oil? They make the oil, essential oil, the thick one.
The thick one, yes, from this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aren't these really toxic?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
considered toxic. Looks like an insect.
Like if you
Yeah,
eat
cool,
one,
like
you
a
might
bug.
die?
Yeah, isn't it?
Maybe
Yeah.
not one, but if you ate a certain quantity, you would die because they contain ricin, which is an extremely toxic poison.
Anything
yeah.
edible, like the
CIA
leaves?
uses to assassinate people.
Or the leaves?
Familiar.
But
I think I've
Is
seen
that
them
what
before.
makes it a laxative?
I believe so. But yeah, when you drink I think the oil doesn't have as much of the toxin in it, but still is. Yeah. So yeah, it's used in like the turpentine cure, where you drink a teaspoon of turpentine and a tablespoon of castor oil or something like that.
Yeah.
And
So
people
to
like to rub
plant
it on
it.
their back or something. I don't know. But
Maybe I'll
Yeah,
plant
so
it.
it's usually the old method, but it's not safe. It's contraindicated, this thing, in the bowel to put turpentine oil in.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It also has industrial uses. Like you can use it. They used to a long time ago. They would use it to lubricate gears and stuff in basic machines, like in the 1800s.
I didn't know
And so it's pretty cool to have. It's a good like apocalypse survival plant. And
The oil is good for eyes, I
another
put
one
in my
planted over
eyes.
there that's very tiny. The dog's standing
Yeah.
right
For
next to it. He's
eyes?
about to trample.
I remember you mentioned this in the past.
Oh no,
time.
he's trampling it. No, he's not.
This is a perennial. It should just keep growing like this.
What's in here? You plant anything there?
That's more. No.
Oh.
This is more castor beans that I just planted.
Oh, just seeds?
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is the
Oh.
iboga. Many of you have heard of ayahuasca, which is like the hallucinogenic plant thing of South America. But apparently in West Africa they have a similar type of plant that has similar effects, and it's iboga. So somebody that we knew went there years ago and brought us some seeds. We planted the seeds, and now we have iboga. So I don't know if anybody else in Ecuador or South America is growing iboga, but we are, so that's kind of cool. And
There must be someone.
the root bark is the part of the plant that contains a psychoactive substance. So
Ibogaine.
once it's big enough to, gets a bit bigger, then you can take chunks of fruit, shave the bark off, and then you eat that. And apparently it does some things to your brain.
Psychedelic.
Yeah, it's a psychedelic, kind of like ayahuasca. Anyways, so that's cool. You can see I have the flamingia planted around the fruit trees so that it can be chopped and made into mulch. Other things I can point out, like over there, down there, you see a row of the ice cream bean with a colored leaf behind the bananas that were really big, and we just stopped and dropped them a couple months ago, so now they're starting to grow again for the bananas.
Yeah, I need to get some of this. I don't have any.
We have
Down
some.
here is the pinto peanut. I planted as much pinto peanut as I could everywhere with the ground cover.
Nice size.
This tree is the ackee. And so,
The aki is the one that looks like a face with Japanese.
Is it?
From
Got
you
three.
know, mango outside the book, outside the cover, it has a little fruit that looks like an alien.
Yeah.
Is this it?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen that book.
I think we
Hidden fruitarian is in the book.
It's a fatty fruit.
This is old enough to start fruiting, so I hope it starts fruiting soon. But now it seems really interested in putting out lots of new growth, which is good also. But yeah, Aki is a nice, like, buttery, cheesy, fatty fruit.
Kind of looks like buds, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that look like buds and they're just new growth, so
Oh.
we'll see. It'll fruit. It's big enough, so. Alright, doggy. That's another Aki that's not quite as big, but I should probably go up this way because that's easier to walk.
That's the contour line.
Yeah, so they're planted on the contour line. You can see how this area here has like this kind of stadium shape. And we just measured it with a level and a line and string. We measured the contour lines around here. So all those bananas are planted on a contour line. The Mexican sunflower and the ice cream bean are on a contour line. And then these trees as well, like the two Akis, the iboga, the jaboticaba over there, and the avocado are also on a contour line. So it allows us to control mineral runoff. So all the stuff like when the grass as it dries and breaks down, and the logs they break down into soil, and it rains, it all runs down the hill. But having lots of stuff planted everywhere in the spaces in between the trees, kind of the roots can absorb more of that stuff. And also if it's vetiver grass, it can actually physically stop it from running down the hill. So that's the idea of using the contour lines. It's also a more efficient use of space. To plant it on contour lines. And the other thing about planting on contour lines kind of gives you kind of a structure. If you just kind of randomly, what I call random planting, just walk around and plant trees where they feel good, you're going to end up doing silly things like planting a jackfruit 2 meters away from a durian without realizing it, or planting a durian right underneath a power line, or planting a massive tree 3 meters away from your house, stuff like that without really thinking about it. So
Oh,
here we have a jaboticaba. I don't know if I have enough fruits for everybody because
wow.
there's not many that are really ripe.
How ripe do they need to be?
Because they have to be pretty dark purple. So who wants to try?
Me.
There's a few more. Maybe not everyone can try, but
How dark should they be?
is dark is.
Like it should be easy to fall off like this?
You can try that one.
Seems a bit...
There's one here. It's not going to be super ripe, but
Okay,
it'll
I'll
be good
try
enough
it.
that you'll understand what the fruit is all about. But it's way better. When they're super ripe, they're way better. They
Mm.
taste kind of like blueberry yogurt.
Oh, nice. Mm.
Like a grape and
How old is the tree?
Not old, like 3 years.
Cool.
This is the Escarlato, the red hybrid variety that fruits much quicker than the other varieties.
it's very tasty.
I'm saving the seeds. Save me the seeds, everybody.
The skin is sour.
There's a tiny one here that's not going to be super ripe, but if somebody else wants.
Frank?
Did you get?
I had one. Frank? No? He doesn't want it. Farmer Frank.
The other day I had a bunch of really big, super black ones, and they were all amazing, but I ate all of them. So.
Fair enough.
Ow.
How many did
These
you
ones are
plant?
purple, but they're not quite dark enough. I don't think they're going to be very good if we eat them right now. So.
How many did you
tastes
plant?
like Rolenia on the inside.
Yeah, the sour one.
Does it taste like that to you? Like the white one?
I'm not sure. I don't like it. Reminds me grape, to be honest, and berries.
Yes.
When they're really ripe, it is described
Oh,
as a
we got the
blueberry
seed?
yogurt flavor, but none of these have been
Oh,
quite
the
ripe.
flesh? Oh, the
These
seed.
ones haven't been quite that ripe today.
Doesn't seem like a viable
Anyways.
one.
It's
Oh,
interesting
see.
that
Unripe.
it's so small
Maybe
and
it'll
it's
grow.
big because it becomes like a big tree.
Yeah, and it gets covered. They get really big, like bigger than a grape. The ones that I harvested the other day from here were really big. And they all over the trunk, so I'm going to get tons and tons of that. It's been fruiting since last September and it hasn't stopped fruiting, so it might be ever bearing.
cool.
These tend to have a long season.
Oh, there's a chili bush here. Is that an accidental chili bush?
Yeah, there's an accidental hot pepper bush there.
I don't know how they do it here, but like in Hawaii, they do 5 or 6 times a year.
This in Brazil is very common.
They
They
do?
have a big tree.
You eat all of them and they
There's a
come
few other
again.
jaboticaba here that you can't really see. That's the same variety, and there's a green jaboticaba over there that you can't really see because it's tiny. And then I think I have a purple one somewhere right down there, but it's really tiny and the brush you can't really see it. But, and grafted avocado.
Avocado is a local variety or
The rootstock is, but she was asking the variety. What is it?
Yeah.
is it a local variety?
Well, the rootstock is local avocado. Then we grafted the Oro Negro avocado onto that. So I have there I have the Oro Negro avocado, and right over there I have a Toquette avocado. So I planted them sort of near each other because apparently they will produce more if they cross pollinate. Is what I read, what I was told. So this is the secret exit. If the other two driveways are too muddy for the quad to go up the slope, I go
Yeah,
up this way.
how can I go up? This was very slippery now that I came.
It's drier now. You'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a tamarind tree. Not really supposed to do well in this climate, but I planted it anyway because somebody in Guadalquivir says they may have gotten some fruit out of theirs, and it's actually has some flowers on it, which is cool. But it's actually been giving flowers for a while and has never given any fruit. So I think hopefully when it gets a bit bigger, it'll give some fruit. And you can
maybe
see
it
there's a
needs to
praying mantis
dry
up
out.
here.
What is it?
It's like a stick bug kind of thing. It's more it's not a praying mantis. Can you guys see it?
Maybe it needs to be dry to give the fruits.
It's interesting. I've seen those before. They have kind of like goofy heads.
Oh, I don't see it.
It's right here. It's really soft, supposedly this kind of, I think I ate it once and found that you can chew on it even with the skin on it because it's soft enough you don't have to peel it. So it's pretty nice. The other grafted avocado I mentioned before. Here I have like the Mexican sunflower bushes planted here, which are, hey, I thought he was going to destroy the tree. Mexican sunflower planted here. That was a really big bush and we kind of chopped it. You can see all the branches here mulching around there. And then there's all the pinto peanut here, and then the Brazilian spinach there that we also planted as kind of ground cover. So it's all just kind of taking off. Most of the tree stuff here I didn't do any work with the excavator except for where the house is. But for this row we're on right now, starting right at the tamarind tree and all the way over there, I had the excavator come through and dig like a swale and make a mound of soil here, along here, and we mixed in limestone with the soil and planted the trees in it right away. And they did really well very quickly because the soil was so loose. So that was kind of cool. Some other kind of sugarcane we got from Hawaii. I don't remember what it's called, and it's not doing super healthy right now, but it usually looks pretty cool with like purple with green stripes on it. But it gets like usually much fatter. I think I have to replant it.
Yeah, it looks like it's got those
Oh, yeah, I
sprouts.
also have random turmeric coming out around here because we planted a bunch of turmeric for no reason. Just might as well.
The turmeric, when you want to plant it, needs to have the leaf or just the
No,
root?
just the root.
Because I planted just the root and
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, sometimes it took this like 6 months to germinate. It was weird. I thought it was
weird.
That's okay.
Hey.
You can eat that. You can eat, I have plenty, and there's other things I don't want them to eat. So yeah, this is white sapote. It's nice fruit. It's like white and sweet, but it's supposedly it's better for a drier or cooler climate. So here we planted the Redland variety, which we brought from Florida, the grafted tree, and the Redland variety of white sapote is supposed to be the best one, the only one that will grow well in a hotter, more humid climate. Normally the white sapote does well in Vilcabamba, so if you go to Vilcabamba between March and May and you talk to people, you might find some white sapote fruits. But they don't generally have grafted cultivars there, just from seed, so they're all right, but they're good, but they're not super, super good. But this is more like a super good variety, but it's also better for this climate. So normal, if you take the white sapote from Vilcabamba and plant it here, it might not fruit. It might not like the climate being warmer here than it is there.
And would this variety do well in Vilcabamba as well?
Possibly. I'm not sure if it works the other way. Another one of the same white sapote. I had lots of caterpillars destroying these, but they've finally given up, so I see them once in a while. But
How did you get rid of them?
what are you eating? Why are you always eating something?
They want attention. We don't look at him.
He has so much fun when I walk around. He's just chewing on everything. And
He seems
fighting
he
with
is
stuff.
enjoying, yeah.
he picks unripe star fruits from the trees. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Oh, he asked you how did you get rid of the caterpillars?
I killed them.
With what?
Stick.
Stick?
Yeah. I just have to come and keep checking on them and knocking them off with a stick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, down there you can see the pond that has water in it. It was recently much fuller than that because it rained so much and it was already all the way full to the top. So, yeah. So see, if I had ducks in the pond, they would probably have walked up here and eaten the caterpillars, and I wouldn't have had to do anything. But I don't. So maybe someday. But for now, the dog likes to swim in the pond, so that's kind of cool.
What's the purpose of the pond?
Well, we had an excavator here, and I was like, I think it would be cool to have a pond, and I have the excavator here. When it was up here, might as well take advantage of that, dig a pond, and someday I'll figure out what I'm going to use it for. So there's that one, and then the small one. So yeah, I think ducks would be good to help control the caterpillars and stuff, and but we'll see.
What's that white thing?
Tube?
That's a pipe for drainage. It's if I ever want to drain that one, I can just pull the pipe out and it goes out, down.
The yucca?
This is a spot where we just planted yucca, so you can see what it looks like when you plant yucca. We just took 4 yucca sticks and stuck them in the ground diagonally. Not straight up and down, not horizontal, but diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the sprouts are already starting from the stick. This is just pickup here, but and then you can see we mixed. There's like rice holes here because we mixed in chicken manure mixed with rice holes as the fertilizer.
But it sprouts even if you put it like not like that.
Yeah, it'll generally sprout. It's just lower success rate. It has more chance of dying, but also it will probably give you less roots and less foliage because doing it this way gives like a whole bunch of nodes under the ground that it can shoot a whole bunch more roots out of it. So here you'll get like a bunch of yucca. Whereas if you put it straight down, you make one straight down, you'll get less yucca. So.
The yucca has an expiry date, or it continues like producing and producing?
It's about 6 months to 9 months, and then it rots.
And then you need to remove it from the ground and plant a new one, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
Could you just chop and drop it and replant it, I guess?
Yeah, the branches that you take off the plant that you harvested from, you could plant those same branches in the same spot. So, and it just around here, the Guatusa likes to eat the yucca. It digs into the ground when it's unmature.
Oh,
so.
I noticed the same.
the fallen
Gatusha
one?
came the other day that the guy was there. What did
Which
you
guy?
say? Yeah,
Yeah.
and he saw the Gatusha be around the yucca.
Oh, yeah.
He took a video.
Which guy
Yeah.
is Simon?
The guy.
German guy? German?
Where was he?
There's
The
a
guy
lot
who did the retreat.
Ah,
Max,
okay, okay.
Maximilian.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
fortunately,
that the one
this
there?
guy takes off after Guatusas whenever he sees one, so they're not going to come around here much anymore. This morning he chased 2 of them down the road.
I saw one falling over there. Is that what, like Guatusa?
A Guatusa?
No, there. This
A yucca.
yucca,
That's just
yeah.
old.
Oh, it's just old. Okay.
But they did eat a lot of the ones up here. We did harvest a lot, but
Okay.
here we harvested a whole bunch of yucca and we put all the sticks in a pile here, and they're just like growing like this. But they're not really going to produce anything because it's just a big pile of them. But if I need to plant more, I can just cut a bunch of sticks off of these. That was just whatever. Another white sapote. Here we planted a new row of vetiver grass very recently, so you can see how I like to do it, which is to plant one plant every 20 centimeters. Along here, and the idea is it's supposed to catch this slope. The dirt keeps running down. It's not going to be as much of a slope anymore. And the starfruit, hey, don't even think about it. The starfruit is not going to have as much of an advantage of being dry up there. He likes to pick the unripe fruit, so I'm watching him very
What
carefully.
fruit is this?
The starfruit.
Oh, that's what you meant.
So eventually this will form a really, really thick, impenetrable, huge wall of vetiver, like this big. And anything that washes down the hill will kind of get caught up in here. So it'll kind of be almost a retaining wall. And I might plant one again here. So let's see if I can find a fruit. They kind of, there's actually some fruits in this tree, but you can see them here, but, what are you
Which
doing?
is that? The curry?
I think it's bell.
Oh, Bill.
But the dog tended to take them. There's one here. I actually think, oh yeah, here's one.
How old is the tree?
It's like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years. I mean, 3 years because it was in the pot for a year before that.
Nice.
Does anybody want?
Yeah, it's not
You
super
want-
This
ready.
is ready to eat.
I would wait
gotta
for
wait.
yeah.
Wait till it gets yellower and juicier. However, that one has a bit of damage, so it might get soft in one spot.
And just
That's
wait
okay,
for a
just
couple
wait till it
days.
gets juicier and
Yeah.
softer, like more yellow.
Okay.
And the way you do is you cut off the ends and then you skin the
I want
spline.
to try.
Oh,
it
okay.
then, Yeah. If,
You
come back.
gotta wait a couple days.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I don't see any more in this one.
good one. Mine is
So I can
pretty
show
small.
everybody, if you're going to eat one of these, you should wait till it's much yellower than this and softer. You cut off each end, and then you skin the splines, like the very edge here. You skin that off. And the reason for that is that's the most sour part, but also has the most oxalates. And this fruit is very high in oxalates, so you don't want to eat a lot of this. You'll get kidney stones.
So what do you do? What do you eat?
The
You eat
flesh.
The flesh
Yeah.
inside, or there's a
And
seed or
there's I eat the
something?
skin as well. There's some
Small
little
seed.
tiny seeds in there that you don't really notice.
Okay.
So, but that's a fruit you don't want to be like monomealing on or eating a whole bunch of, because people have actually gotten kidney stones just from. There's a raw vegan guy in Hawaii who just went on a binge of those. You know, I just loved them so much, and I ate so many, and I just had a kidney stone because he didn't know. You know, it's like the highest oxalate content of any fruit that we normally eat. This is the Ruby Supreme guava, which is slightly more worm resistant than the other guavas we have down there, which is kind of cool. This one's putting off a bunch of flowers.
Someone brought this from Florida, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of these flowers.
That was me.
Oh, you did that.
Wait, you forgot? Oh my god.
I don't always remember exactly. Who
Oh,
brought
okay.
them.
Yeah, it was me.
I like to pick these early because otherwise the ants tend to bite into them. Does anybody want this one? Hold on to it for like
Yeah,
a week.
Yeah.
When it gets nice and yellow and soft.
Yeah,
Might take a
cha-ching.
week. They tend to ripen
Put
pretty well off.
my
the tree.
pocket if you want. Oh,
Who else?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he can keep it.
This is a different variety.
Nice production.
Just gotta wait till it gets nice and yellow. Yeah, I think these are both the same, and that one's I think these are Bell and that one's Kari.
Let him get more.
Yeah, these
Okay.
ones will wait a little bit longer.
But
I
you
just
could.
don't wait too long because, like I said,
Oh.
I like the idea of letting them tree ripen. but
On the other
hand,
side, yeah.
I like the idea of not letting the ants.
On the other
get to
side,
them.
maybe, if you want, but you could wait also.
There's some over here, but they're not that.
Yeah,
They're still greener.
nice. So that's the same age, the tree?
Yeah, and the one over here is also the same age, but it's smaller.
Wow, what a difference. Was that one of the permablitz? No, I think it was
No,
after.
this is well after.
Oh, it's got some yellow one on this side.
Where? Oh yeah.
Here.
These are too small.
That one's more yellow.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at the spider.
That one
This
might
one is
be
much closer to ready to
almost, yeah, you could probably try it
Yeah.
even. I didn't bring my
I
pocket
wouldn't
knife.
need this yet.
No? Okay.
eat. I'd wait. Somebody else wants one?
What is all that?
This is just the jungle.
Weeds.
And this is how much overgrowth happens in like a very short amount of time. That's
Yeah.
less than a year of overgrowth right there. Anybody else want a fruit?
Sure. Unless Nick didn't.
Ah, sure.
It's not ready yet, but
It's not ready yet, but it'll get softer and nicer. So, yeah.
the Brazilian spinach.
Thanks a lot.
Like 1 or 2 days. Oh, it's got cracking.
These are really picky, but there's tons of flowers all over, so it's going to shoot up a whole bunch of fruit soon. So
Interesting.
hopefully
Did you get?
Guava?
Yeah.
You-
This is the Supreme guava.
You had some before?
It actually sells at a fairly high price, like a gallon bag is like $5 sometimes of the year in the market, so I might try to sell some of it.
Did it produce already?
It's got tons of, yeah, a lot.
Oh, okay.
But just little by little, but this is the first time it's gotten so much fruit, probably because now is the season. It's got so many flowers all over it,
Okay.
so that's cool.
That's a different guava. It's not the guava from Fruit Haven.
Right.
Well, we have one like that there also, but it's the one near the brick compost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started to fruit very sparsely, but it hasn't put out as many flowers as this yet. So hopefully I'll get like 30 fruits from this at least. What are you eating down there?
Guava.
He's been chewing on things the entire time.
Yeah.
He had a big grasshopper earlier in his mouth.
Earlier. Okay, I'll pause the video. Really? Was it red?
No, it's not. That was the one that we thought it was the red one, but it ends up between the yellow one.
Oh, I told you.
Right here. The dot, that one. Yeah, vetiver grass for retaining the stuff from
Beautiful.
on the way. See alpangi just over the top of the trees there. So from where we were standing before, you can see alpangi at night. Right there. Pretty cool.
What is that? I think you can see alpangi too.
The pulp.
The palm, which is a regular palm.
Pumbil probably or something.
Here you can see the Pyramidora house where we do the martial arts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's through the trees.
The roof of
You can't really see it in the video.
I just asked that if you come inside, take your shoes off so we don't have to sweep the floor like crazy. Take your shoes off.
Pick 'em up.
Did you say you use a natural fence?
Yeah. So the wood is all treated with linseed oil, and
Why the Kevin said the linseed oil quality is not so good here.
Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about. If you apply it properly, then it works great.
Yeah?
You have to mix it at a certain dilution. You have to heat it up before you apply it, and you have to only apply it to dry wood. And if you follow those steps, then it's fine. But if you do it wrong, it gets sticky and moldy. So
Okay.
I had a few spots in here that were a bit sticky afterwards, so I just wiped it down with sandpaper and solvent, and it was fine. But yeah, it's worked fine. And then the windows are just this shade cloth and netting, so it works, keeps the bugs out. And then,
Why did you put only windows?
Why you do it
two
this
questions
way?
at once. Hold on.
Sorry,
What was your question?
Why did you put windows back here but not over here?
Because I want the view over here, but I didn't want the whole thing to be totally open. Like, I don't want to sleep in a spot where I feel like people are looking at me or something. I don't know. I wanted this part to feel private, but then I wanted to see the view. And over there, there's not much of a view. It's just the kitchen. It's ugly and the hill. So I'm like, I wanted the view over here. And it's up there. The light still gets in there in the morning, so it's up there is open.
Why did you make it so tall?
Because I feel...
Because he's tall.
Because I'm tall. No, I like it. I like it tall because I feel when it's a really high roof building, it feels luxurious and very spacious.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to put in a loft or anything because I just like the way that it feels really open. So it's cool.
Like in France. In France they have very high ceilings.
Yeah.
It's very typical in the
Yeah,
buildings.
often in France they like it that way.
Yeah,
Could
it's
put a
beautiful.
roof on it,
And there are those little transparent roof sheets that let in light during the day, which is not really necessary because plenty of light gets in the ends here. But another interesting fact, we didn't use any nails at all in the entire construction of this building. We did use bolts and screws. Lots of bolts and screws, not a single nail. So these little like circles you see at the ends of the wood there, and those diagonals, you see these little circles. And you can't really, maybe you can't see here because the sun is, but like I guess a point up here, you can see two dark circles in the wood. So inside we carved a hole into the wood, and we put the two bolts into the next piece of wood, screwed them in, and then filled it with wood fill. So you can't see any screws or nails or bolts. They're all covered.
My sister is trained interior designer in Japan.
Yeah.
She was working for like 30 years, so she know about this. She learned in Japan about this wood joint.
In Japan, they're even more hardcore because they will do something without any even bolts or screws, no metal fasteners, just fitting the wood together. However, that's labor intensive and you need a lot of skill and time. And I was just like, well, I'll go halfway there at least. We did do a lot of joinery too. We did a lot of joints. You could see that beam that goes straight up there. There's a notch cut into the beam below it, and it fits into the notch. And then behind that, there's another notch. The one that goes up into it. So most of those big connections here have those notches. Some of them you can't see here as well. And that makes it stronger and reduces the need for the metal fasteners. But it was kind of experimental. And some people at Fruit Haven were all kind of doing the exact same style of houses, like Kevin's house and Josh's house and Maria's house. Not that that's, I mean, they all had their own things that made them different. But I wanted to do something totally different. So I was like, I'm going to try this, you know. So.
What's the reason for these diagonal posts?
To add, because usually in a building like this, you would have to have beams coming across like this. So that way the weight of the roof doesn't force the walls apart. But I didn't want beams going across the middle. I wanted it to feel open. So instead we just put the diagonals.
That's
so
cool.
we'll still hold it together. And so, yeah.
I don't know if you believe in feng shui. It's not good to sleep under the beam.
Under the window?
Under the beam.
Under the beam. Ah, interesting. Well, I used to have my bed in the middle. Just recently I moved it because there were ants underneath it. But yeah, I may move it back to the middle.
Well, see how you feel.
Yeah.
Any difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, why you put your window like that instead of just the final
Well, I thought
metal one? Or just
I thought this would be a bit cheaper, but the other thing was this: the shade cloth stops it doesn't get really bright. I didn't want the super bright sun shining here in the afternoon. So this is also kind of an experiment. I think in the future I'll change it out with normal screen. When the shade cloth starts to break down,
normal screen as what?
like the
metal one.
Yeah. But bugs don't get in here. It's fine. So I'll keep this for a while, and then once in a couple of years when that plastic starts to break down, I'll take it all off and put in proper screens. And I actually kind of want to put in a few glass windows because I think that would look really cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Looks like a church, then you could have different colors.
With the stained glass windows in it.
Yeah, stain.
It'd be funny. It's very empty, but I also have all my stuff down at the community house still. Despite moving out of there like 2 years ago, I still keep my stuff down there, so I have to like a dresser up here and get my clothes up here and everything, but that's the dog's bed over there on the floor of that mat.
Let's see the view of the.
Easy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, what?
It's hard to see.
He sleeps there, yeah. He
I thought it was a yoga mat.
when he sleeps outside, it used to be. When he sleeps outside, he whines and cries, so I had to have him sleeping here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is the Mysore raspberry that is the only variety of raspberry that we know that fruits in the tropics, and it's a black raspberry, so the pure black ones are ripe. So if you are walking along here, either the upside or the downside, and you see any that you want to eat, feel free to pick them and eat them, as Forrest is already doing. And this is basically cement posts every 8 meters with galvanized wires strung along them. And the raspberry plants grow up in between the wires, grow over the tops of the wires and out the bottom. And once they come down to about chest height, we clip them, we prune them. Because if we don't, they grow down to the ground and they keep growing new plants, and the whole area turns into a massive thicket that produces almost no fruit and is unmanageable. So we clip them here and they fruit around the tips.
So they are almost like blackberry then.
Yeah, it's technically a black raspberry, which is still a raspberry. You can tell by looking at it, it looks like a raspberry. It doesn't look like a blackberry.
No.
And it has a bit more of a raspberry flavor. But it's black.
Yeah, there's a lot of tasty ones.
It's probably 5. It was probably in the pot for 2 years, and it's probably been here for 4 years. Because this is one of the first trees I planted when we started planting stuff here. So. I have 4. I have another one down there and another 2 over here that are a bit smaller than this one. So they take a very long time to fruit. This one might be like 5 more years before it fruits. It can be like 7 to 9 years.
Yeah,
So it's worth the wait though, because it's very good.
I agree.
This is the plant.
You mean the one for the use for spice?
Yeah. And so it grows kind of like a banana in that it keeps up suckers and gets bigger and bigger, and the fruits, the seed pods come out the middle. I'm going to cut a few off in case anybody wants.
Oh, cool. You got some seeds?
To have a souvenir.
Oh, it's already producing seeds?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It smells nice in here.
I'm curious what it smells like. Do the leaves smell like anything?
Well, I don't know, just
Not really.
the general interior part of the plant tends to smell good. Oh, that's a Kong ant.
It's a big.
So if you're in places like that, be careful, because there's sometimes Kong ants that hang out in there.
The bullet ant?
I saw one in there. I don't think it got on me, but nobody sees any Kong ants crawling around.
You mean the bullet ant? Or what do you mean by Kong?
Yeah, it's a bullet.
Bullet,
Also
yeah.
known as Kong ant.
That's the local name.
Does anybody want cardamom?
Yeah.
I'll cut some pieces. You want
How do
some?
you use it?
Cut this one.
Does it grow from seed?
Oh, I smell it already.
Yeah, it smells good.
Can it grow from seed as well?
Maybe, but people would just plant it from cuttings.
Okay.
Oh, so this is just for using in salad?
So what you can
With an
do?
euro?
Well, you can basically cut a few little knife cuts into the side of the pod and crush it, and then it can be used to flavor things that are like marinating in it. I know a guy that, oh yeah, the seeds inside you can blend into like dressings and stuff. I know a guy that used to always put cardamom in his fermented nut
That's the
cheeses and
first
stuff.
time I
Good
see
for
the
curries.
fresh one.
You just put the whole seed in.
And if you're cooking, yeah, you just crush it a little bit and then put it in the water with whatever you're cooking, and then it seasons it all. So does anybody want this one?
So like that is not edible. This one, it's not edible like that.
I don't know,
Did you
try
buy?
eating it. Maybe.
It's not poison.
It's like kind of
They
similar.
probably have strong flavor.
Didn't he try to poison us?
You want it,
It's
Frank?
not, you're not
No?
going to die if you bite into it.
I'll try sprouting it, I guess.
We will not die.
I'll take.
Not good. Not savory.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try.
Because
I guess I'll take it if no one
You don't
wants.
want it, Maria? Boris is taking it.
No, it's break. It has little seeds.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're
Is it-
immature. These aren't the mature dried ones, but it's seed, not grafted or cultivated. But it generally produces a good durian. And Durio graveolens is another species of durian that is known to fruit well in higher elevations, like up in the mountains. For example, the high mountainous regions of Vietnam, they might grow this instead of other types of durian. So, but the Durio graveolens is not quite as good as the lower elevation durian. So you get around that by cross-pollinating the two varieties of durian, and then you get the Durio graveolens tibethanus hybrid. And this is one of them. I have another one over there, and right over there there's like a small one that you can see. Well, maybe you can't, but there's like a circle of logs up there. This is the biggest one I have. But they're doing
How many years? Roughly?
2 to 3. I would say almost 3. Okay, now that I think about it, the years just fly by. I think I've been planting this stuff here for 4 years, because this is the year after that at least.
Is this the same?
So who bought you the
variety?
seed? Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead.
Who bought you the seed?
Jason.
From Borneo?
Yeah, he was traveling there, and then he came back here with a bunch of cool varieties.
Yeah, pity we can't send seed. I got a family down there
Yeah.
in Sabah, in Sarawak.
Yeah, you have to buy them a $3,000 flight ticket if you wanted them to receive here.
My daughter going end of year, and then she will come here after. My daughter is going to Malaysia.
Nice. What are you going to ask?
Oh, is that the same tree that the durian guy has in Ecuador?
I don't think he has this.
What- I
He's a
mean-
durian guy, you mean Jim West?
Jim West, does he? What kind of durian trees does he have?
He has, most of his trees are Durio tibethanus, and there's like 30-year-old mature trees. And then he has a few other varieties, like some other colors that he doesn't know the variety name of. And he has Musang King durian and Chani durian. And I don't know, actually,
Oh, he's at a different elevation than here.
yes, but we can grow those, but that's the thing, like all those varieties we can grow down at the river, where like Fruit Haven 1, 2, Fruit Haven 4, because that's 760 meters, so the durians, everything we have planted down there is tibethanus, Musang King and Chani. But up here we're 100 meters higher. Climbing up that hill, you're going up 100 meters.
So that's why
Only
you got
100
the
meter higher?
Yeah.
And you can not.
Fruit Haven 3 is 250 meters higher.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's even higher. So I would definitely only plant Durio graveolens at Fruit Haven 3.
Oh,
Here I might be able to get away with tibethanus, but just to be safe, I'm planting the graveolens and the hybrid. And actually, if I remember correctly, there's one that maybe that Jim doesn't. It's either the Chani. I think Jim doesn't have the Musang King, but he has the Chani, because I think we got the Chani from him, and I think someone brought us the cyan for the Musang King. I could be wrong, if I remember correctly.
That's a lot to take in.
So, anyways, I'm not an expert on durian or anything, but it's cool to have durians growing, of course, because it's one of the best fruits. So, yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, you can tell it's a durian because the underside of the leaf has a slight gold color. Now, this is weird. It actually has less of a gold color than most durians do, and the underside of the leaf is very slight, and I wonder if that's because of the variety or because the soil is not quite that good here. So I'm wondering if I gave it a bit more nitrogen that they would turn more gold. But durians are also recognizable because the leaves tend to hang straight down, and on most fruit trees that's a bad sign. It's a sign that the tree is going to die. It's unhealthy. But for durian, it's fairly normal that the leaves just hang down like that. So, two ways to tell if a tree is a durian or not.
How long till it's fruit?
From seed, it would be like at least 7 years, at least. But grafted, I'll be lucky if I get it in 6 years.
Okay.
And that's if I baby it. And I'm always applying manure and keeping it well weeded and mulched, which I plan to do.
Yeah.
But often in
Maybe hopefully 4 more years I'll have to.
in Malaysia, they told me like 8, 9 years.
Yeah, it can definitely be 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
It depends on a lot of factors, and also you realize like everyone told us Rollinia would be 3 years to fruit, and we were getting our Rollinias to fruit in 1.5 years. We're like, is everyone lying to us? No, it's just that most people, the way they take care of the fruit trees and the climate that they happen to be in, which may be somewhere in Hawaii.
Mono agriculture, they do.
Yeah, and some people just don't
they do
take
like
that much care of the
industrial.
fruit trees. And in some ways, it's really just a mathematical formula of literally just how much nitrogen you add to the tree in its early years, and that's all. Because once the tree gets to a certain trunk thickness, it's going to get fruit. So if you add, obviously there's a limit, but if you add more manure and mulch and compost, it's going to fruit sooner. So that's why some of our Rollinias are fruiting in 1.5 years, and some of our jackfruits, like they were telling us 5 years to get meringue to fruit, we got our meringues to fruit in 3.5 years. Part of that is because our climate was more moisture year-round, so they could consistently grow. The dry season didn't stop them from growing that much, and part of that was just because we kept really good care of them. So maybe I could get this to fruit sooner than most people would. I don't know. So
Very cool. I've been telling those Chinese friends I met recently.
Yeah.
They are so impressed that we are growing durian.
Yeah.
They will be our customer if we
We
put
get
them.
messages. I get messages and emails from Chinese people in Ecuador, not infrequently, asking for durian trees, durian fruits, and I'm like, we don't produce durian yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we sell a durian tree or a lychee. Oh yeah, lychee trees, crazy. Yeah, we've been people trying to buy lychee trees from us non-stop, and they'll pay huge prices for it. But it's so hard to get the lychee tree to propagate with the air layer. We get such a high failure rate. So it's like after
Yeah.
trying for a year, we have 3 new trees propagated. But it's like we want to keep all those to propagate them faster, so we can't sell them. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like we could probably sell them for $50 per tree to these people, but we're you know,
Well, they're rich.
yeah.
I like my arm.
Does it smell like anything?
To me, it smells like it's probably poisonous.
No.
This will be exciting. Gosh, what was that? Is that
Whoa, what was
probably
that?
just built up of
Yeah.
gases or something.
Did they put something inside?
Probably the vapors or something. It's pretty fun. I think I got it on video.
I can run like this.
Olympic.
You can do poise now. Nick and Sarah.
No, it's a fire, not food.
Oh, has he not seen fire before?
Usually animals are afraid of fire.
Well,
Dogs
he
and-
hasn't learned what fire is yet, but now he knows.
Oh.
He's a puppy. I guess you'll have some charcoal now, yeah?
I don't know if it's going to keep burning because...
Yeah, probably not. We have to go down because none of us brought lights actually. So.